Where am I at? What happened to the screen?
All right, we got Doug. We're slowly getting people in.
My screen disappeared. Where did that go?
Depends on how you made it disappear.
I clicked on it, sent me a little thing on the side that said what's new in Catalina. And then when I did that,
so
I
close
know.
that window and go back to the other one.
Okay. Here we are. Sorry, I haven't used this computer in a while here. I usually use my iPad. Oh, I see everybody now. Everybody's popping up.
Can you see me? Can you? Oh, there's my problem. Come on.
We can hear you, Charlie.
Yeah, I didn't have my camera turned on yet. And it's funny because Shirley was talking about using an iPad versus a laptop, and I am attempting to do both and doing the usual thing of trying to treat the MacBook like a touchscreen. And
Yeah, well, you haven't, like here, I haven't used my computer in quite a while. So I have to pay attention to where everything is because it's not quite the same as the iPad.
no, it is not.
But I'm not having any issues with hearing and seeing, so this is good.
Good. Now,
Sounds like you don't have your headphones on.
no, that's probably me.
Somebody.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And we can see you.
Yes.
Okay. So, Lyle, did anyone notice Lyle when he turned his camera on?
Yes, I saw
Yes.
Lyle.
Okay.
I saw Lyle.
So his video is working, but
Let's
his
see.
audio.
Yes, there's our problem. We have a Band-Aid over the camera. All right, here we go.
There, I see Lyle.
There you go. Yep, I see it now too.
Now,
Hello, Lyle.
Hey, Charlie, we see you twice.
I think if I mute the mic, and then let's see, what do I do here? All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you have two cameras going.
Yes, I do. One of them should say Charlie B. iPad.
Yep,
It does.
The other one has my regular full name.
yep.
That's on the MacBook. When we get around to those hearing aid app things, I have one for each device, and so that's why I've got the two of them going here.
Okay.
I will occasionally probably create a feedback problem, and I will hopefully stop it fairly quickly. I'm sort of in Kim's mode of multi-device participation in the meeting.
With sealing.
With feeling, did you say, Doug?
With sealing.
Okay, the mic is enabled.
Yeah.
We can hear
Don't know
you.
whether that's anything you can hear or not.
Yep, we can hear you.
You, Lyle.
We hear you, but you don't hear us.
This is going to be very fun.
Yeah.
Is there a way to see more than just 6 people on a screen at once?
Here we go.
You can,
I've got 15 on my screen.
That depends on the processing capacity of the particular device, because Mastermind Lounge selects for high quality video, and it makes a decision about how high a quality it can produce on your device and reduces the number of tiles you see if you don't have, the latest and greatest hot shot, whatever. So but there are arrows on either side of the screen.
Right. I see the both arrows and I go back and forth, but is there something you can set so you can see the more smaller pictures to see everybody, or is
There is not, for the reason
It shows you as many as it can based on the power of your
that
computer.
stated.
I only
Mastermind
see
Lounge
six
will
as
not
well.
allow that because
well, my computer should be able to handle it.
Well, I can see you, Frank, so
Yeah, I see myself and I go back and forth among the people.
Make the window bigger, maybe? I've got 369,
No,
I've got
doesn't
12
help.
on my computer.
all right.
So even with, all right, so unplug.
I got the screen bigger and makes 6 bigger pictures.
Yeah, same here.
Frank, were you, I don't remember if you were here with us last month when Nick went over how Mastermind Lounge works.
No, I was not.
Okay, well, you will see on the left side of your screen the list of the users.
Right, I see that.
That always shows. So the point is that you can you can tell who's available by that, and then you just have to use those arrows to see them if you want to do that.
Okay, because I got listed 12 users.
Right.
And the person
And
that
that's gonna-
talks should jump to the front of the screen.
I don't know that happens, but what does happen is that at the top of the screen above the tiles, there's a list of people who are talking or have recently talked. So right now,
Correct.
the head of the list.
Right.
And now you're there. And also that 12 users includes 2 of me, so.
Okay.
3 of me.
Yeah, let's see, we got an iPhone, we got a webcam, we got, I'm seeing 2, but anyway, that's right.
Alright, so I got Facebook running and I have YouTube running. Am I getting audio on YouTube? Ah, wrong button. Okay, yep, we're getting audio on YouTube.
I am getting lag when I look at my picture compared to what I'm saying.
Carol, that is what I have talked about every time we have used this Mastermind Lounge. I see other people in real time as they are talking, but I see myself delayed sometimes by many minutes on my own screen. Currently, I'm in real time on the MacBook because I just raised my hand and I can see it, although it's out of sight now. But where the hell am I? Oh, that's the left arm. All right. Oh, wait a minute. That's because that's on the iPad. This is me on the MacBook. Hi. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Well, we're learning more and more. We're getting a little more hang of it.
We've also seen that Mastermind Lounge likes Chrome better. So you may be getting, let me see, try it in Safari and Chrome on the same computer and see what I get. That'll be interesting. All right, I'm getting, and turn that off. Getting 9 on Safari, and I'm getting 12 on Chrome.
Ozempic isn't for people with type 1 diabetes.
Now I closed with, if you close the chat windows, you can get more. It looks like.
Right. I also just found that I can double tap two-finger double tap on the chat or the participants list. Blow it up the way I can when I'm reading articles on the MacBook.
Yeah, there is a button in each video window to make that person full screen.
Yep, right, yep. And then it looks like you gotta hit escape to get out of it, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. I closed my window and rejoined, and now I'm not getting lag.
Interesting, yes, yeah.
Don't know why.
Yeah. There, real time here, cool.
Okay, so do we need more time, or can we officially start the meeting?
You can
I'd say
start.
start 7:16.
All right.
I now have audio.
Good.
Okay, good.
Exited, came back, came in on Chrome browser.
Yeah, it does
Right.
seem to like Chrome a little better, but if you're on a new enough Mac, it should be fine.
Audio at the moment sucks, but we'll see how it goes.
I'm using Firefox. It's working fine.
And
All
that
right,
was, who was that? Rick?
Rick.
I'm looking at the list at the top, but they disappear kind of quickly.
Yeah, when you stop talking,
Oy
it goes
vey.
away.
All right, well then, 7:16. We'll officially start our January apple cider meeting. And so welcome to everybody who's online. At least we're getting a little earlier here, and how much time we spent trying to get up to speed here. So that's good. So let's see. Steve, what do you want to start with? You want to start with news, Q&A, what?
Probably doesn't matter too much. Oops, now I made my window too big. Hang on a minute. I'm going to make it a little smaller so we can see the rest of the stuff. And I'm going to put it behind everything. Okay. Alright, so I am going to try turning my presenter window on. I need to make me the presenter.
Will we need to click our presenter circle too?
I will, no. I will have to give you screen sharing ability when you are ready to do it.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't mean for what I'm going to talk about. I mean to see you in presenter mode. Do I need to click to be in present?
You won't, you can't.
Okay.
Well, there's presenter mode shows a presentation on your computer. Screen sharing will share your screen. And no one will have screen sharing capability but me when I give it to them.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to share the Safari window. So are you all seeing the Safari window?
Yes.
All right, yes.
Yep.
And is it making it into YouTube? No, it is not. That's annoying. Okay, it made it into YouTube, but really tiny. Is there a way to make that bigger? Yeah, there we go. So now the web sharing is a little bigger and all the people are across the top. Okay. So what were we doing? That was the question, right? What are we doing? Oh, I think I shared the wrong window. That's okay. So this window, yeah, we'll get set up for next time. Yeah, I had had the CIDER window open 4 times and I picked the wrong one to share. Okay. So window. Nope. Where'd it go? You just lost the window, didn't you?
No?
The shared CIDER
No, yeah,
Yes.
web window?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, we're not seeing your Safari anymore.
There it is, Safari. That window, share. Okay. And we're going to go to there later. Alright, so now let's see Apple if they had any hot news. Anyone know of anything newsy? News. Apple Newsroom. There we are. Several people have left Apple, which is interesting. Yeah, so a couple of big things. Apple is really going all in on the Apple TV Plus. They got Major League Soccer. They were bidding on NFL Sunday Ticket, and NFL wants $3 billion, and Apple pulled out. I guess $3 billion is just a little too much. But one of the things that was interesting, and it might even be in here, is Will Smith. Did we talk about the Will Smith movie last month?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he has a new movie, and Will's Gift, to see if it's still valid. You can get a free 2-month subscription for Apple TV Plus. In order to see his new movie. Oh, maybe it's expired already.
I think it was just to the end of the year.
I thought it was to the end of January. There it is. 2-month free trial. This is his first post-slap movie. Oh, apple.co/Will Gift. And you can sign up for 2 free months. Expires January 14th. Oh, so we have a couple of days left. I'm going to leave that window open because I'm going to do it. So I can binge watch season 3 of For All Mankind. The other thing that happened is Apple raised some of their prices on some of their services. And do they have a press release on that? So Apple TV went up to $6.99 a month, and yeah, leave that open. Some of the other services went up. So if you have multiple Apple subscriptions, you might be paying a little bit more. So the Apple One subscription comes with pretty much everything. And so you get TV Plus, Music Plus, Fitness Plus, Arcade, News Plus. So all the extra stuff. And where is their list of prices? Yeah, they're not going to have a price list until I go into each one, right? Yeah. But you may want to look at your subscriptions to see. There we are. News is $6.99 a month after the free trial. So 1, 2, 3. So each of the services have changed, but down here doesn't tell us which service is which because we got to look at what footnote it is. But you may want to check your service listings, and some of the prices may have gone up. There we are. There's a CNBC article about it. So Apple Music went up $1. Apple TV went up $2. One of the things I had said about Apple TV Plus is that since they didn't have that much back content to show, the $4.99 price probably wouldn't last. And so that's up to $6.99, which is still among the lowest of the subscription services. Netflix is trying to add a lower tier price, $6.99 a month, but you get ads. We're finding more and more people don't want the ads. They don't, they'd rather pay a little bit more for no ads. But who knows how many millions of people are using Apple services, and if you add $1 or $2, then they can make a lot of extra money. So Apple One, which is their pretty much everything, has gone up to $16.95 a month, which you can then share with other users in your household. So it's kind of handy when you make a family. When you subscribe to any of these Apple services, everyone in the family can have access to them as well. So they made $17 billion last quarter. So that's nothing to sneeze at. So by itself, that's a huge business, but kind of gets lost in the middle of all of Apple's other businesses. Oops, I lost the newsroom window. Excuse me. They did just introduce a new software that we'll probably look at in a month or two called Freeform. It's a collaboration program. It's basically everyone gets a whiteboard and you can each draw on it and collaborate among yourselves. So it's document sharing. So it's kind of interesting. A lot of people have already been using, especially in business, using Teams for document sharing or Google Docs for document sharing. So now Freeform is available, but it's only available on Apple devices. So there's been some criticism about that, leaving out all the non-Apple people. And it is only available on the latest OSs. So you need Ventura on the Mac and OS 16 on the other on your iPhone and iPad. But you can have 100 collaborators working on the same board. So it's almost like they're trying to take a crack at Teams or what's the other one? Discord. No, there's a couple other business collaboration tools that have come online.
That'll drive me crazy. I remember trying to use Subby to edit, and it was a terrible experience.
You're trying to edit something and someone else changes it, and then you change it back, and yeah, so there's the requirements. Yeah, that was one of the things in the very early days of multi-user editing, is that you'd have two people fighting over how something should be, and they'd keep changing it back and forth and back and forth. Alrighty, let's see. Several people had left Apple. I don't know if they have that listed recently. Second quarter, no, they're not going to do that. Fourth quarter results we talked about. The phone we talked about. Yeah, the emergency SOS via satellite is getting to be popular, and more phone companies are starting to allow that as well, because apparently the chip differential isn't that much between a cellular chip and a chip that has satellite built in, and Apple's been one of the big companies pushing that. It's kind of interesting to see what a satellite might look. Satellite dish looks like on the inside, so there's a dome in the middle of nowhere, right? Anybody else have any news type things they want to talk about?
Steve, 2 weeks ago, I read an article about quantum computers Google is building, and they must run at absolute zero temperature, and they are extremely fast, but today they are extremely stupid. Have you read anything about qubits? Instead of bits and bytes, it's qubits.
Yeah, a quantum bit.
In that the speed eventually within 3 or 4 years will be so fast that passwords will all be broken.
Yeah, that's
There will
that's
be
the
no
big
privacy.
scare headline that goes around. But they've been saying that for at least 20 years. So I guess one of these days they'll be right. From
They-
what?
They say it takes it all morning just to add 4 plus 4 right now.
Yeah,
They're
and
they're
working
very
in
very
4 bits.
clumsy slow.
Right, and they're only working in 4 bits, and most passwords are 4096-bit encryption, so it'll be a long way. So Google can do the impossible in 200 seconds. So on very simple operations, the quantum computers have shown extreme promise. What was this other article? 158 million times faster than current computers, but only for very tiny operations. So it's one of those things
But
that
they must.
can show a lot of promise, but may not have much near-term use. But IBM is working on it, Microsoft is working on it, NASA's working on it.
They have to be kept at 273 degrees Celsius negative. That's absolute zero, isn't it?
Yeah, so they get as
73
close to absolute zero as they
Celsius.
can, because that makes the superconductors more efficient. So that's one of the other sort of holy grails, is a room temperature superconductor. So when did they first start talking about quantum computers? Decades ago.
Yeah.
In the 1920s.
Isn't that sort of talking about the new Ant-Man movie about Quantumania?
Yeah, quantum. Quantum is the big buzzword now.
You could always ask Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Has anybody used that?
I played around with it for a little bit. I told it to write some programs using live code language. And at first it looked like the code was good. And then I went through and started examining it. And I realized, oh no, it's made a bunch of syntax errors and some logic errors. And I tried to debug it, and I spent like 3 hours. And I was like, no, this is ridiculous. I could have written it myself in less time than that.
Wow.
There's been
So it's not going to replace programmers anytime soon. But I will say it did suggest some pathways of thinking about things that you might not have considered.
Get down.
That's good.
Things in digital art correction.
Get.
What is it? There are 2 or 3 different open source digital art systems, and it's getting to be a little controversial because someone, an AI art, someone submitted an artwork to a digital contest and won. And people were all mad about can't do that with an AI, and the answer they sort of gave was, well, you said digital art, this is digital art. DALL is another big one, the AI art generator. What is getting to be more frustrating for a lot of people is the images that were scraped Let me see. Powerful user. And you can get images based on certain artists. And those artists have had their data basically scraped to train the AI. And they're not getting any compensation for it.
Hey, Shirley, you need to like mute your microphone. It's creating a lot of noise and it's very distracting.
Sorry.
Okay.
How about they could get it to write Beethoven's 10th Symphony?
Yeah, that could be interesting. So this is going to take a while to work. Or no. I've got to sign in for that one to work. No, that is the one I did. So if I want to save it, I want to sign in. So this is what it came up with for Powerful Mac. Somebody did a... let's see. Let's do Elon... Oops. Musk standing in front of Mars rover. Well, I don't actually see Elon standing there, but there's a Mars rover and a base, so it's interesting to play with. But what has happened is, as people have gone beyond playing with it and are now starting to use them in other works, is what about copyright, and what about all these artists that had their work taken and public images scraped without compensation? And so suddenly there's been a mass of these AI art creation tools. And of course, all the latest buzzwords, you can turn it into an NFT and then lose a ton of money.
Is that a little bit like Watson? You scrape other people's art?
Yeah, sort of. Watson, especially when Watson was playing Jeopardy, just had access to all the information. Last I knew, Watson was doing medical research. But because the interconnectedness allowed it to retrieve information very quick, and I always got a kick out of it. It was based on Power PCs. So the IBM Power 750 was basically a G3 computer, but it had 3,000 processors and 16 terabytes of RAM. But trying to accumulate everything together in one computer is sort of how Watson was working, and being able to process that information used to be considered supercomputers, and now more and more they are becoming clusters. So like I said, this Watson was 3,000 processors. So instead of needing to have one computer with a super fast processor, you just start sticking multiple computers together and multiple processors together. So that's kind of a big thing now in the supercomputer records. Let's see, where's the most recent one?
If I can butt in while you're looking, Steve.
Yeah.
A number of years ago, I think at some college, they did a thing where they used a gymnasium or something like that and had students bring in all their PCs and hook them up together to create a supercomputer.
Yep. There was a supercomputer at Virginia Tech that they built out of Power Macs. It was like 1,100 Power Macs, and they held the record. So this top 500 shows the fastest supercomputers in the world, and they I think they hit number 6, and they only spent like $10 million. Most of these supercomputers are in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and so it made an interesting comparison. And when they took down the supercluster, they sold it to the public, so people had a chance to buy the computer that was part of the supercluster. So right now, the top supercluster is, what does it say? 52 gigaflops per watt. It's got 9 million processor cores, and can do 1.1 exaflops. So let's see, beyond trillion, quadrillion, a gazillion, a bazillion, just a ridiculous amount of power. I want to see how much it cost, though, because that's one of the biggest things. So this uses 21,000 kilowatts of electricity. So that's about as much as a small town. But now we're seeing these superclusters have millions of cores instead of thousands that were common, just 4 or 5 years ago.
So someday our PCs will all be like Z80s connecting to supercomputers.
Kind of like that. There were several projects for a while. There was SETI at home. There was one called Folding at Home, where you could fold proteins. And so you would run a program on your computer, and one of them was SETI at Home, that would analyze radio signals from the Arecibo telescope. And they would, instead of needing giant supercomputers, they got tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people to run it on their own computers at home. And they made some really interesting progress in analyzing just the volume of data that there was. And the other one that was real popular was Folding at Home, which is folding proteins for cancer research. I think that one's still going. Yeah, they're still going, and they're doing COVID research also. So there was a thing for a while where if you had some spare computing time, you could run this program on your computer, or let it run all night while you were not doing anything.
Steve, what are those projects called generically?
I don't know if they had an actual name. It was just distributed network computing. Let me see if there was an overall.
Are they crowdsourcing?
Kinda, because you're asking the crowd of people to do the work, distributed across them.
We had a presentation about this years ago when we were meeting in the forum room by husband and wife, and he had amyloidosis, I think it's called, and there was a project on to support research into that. But they talked about that for our meeting.
No, that's not what I wanted. It was I think it was BOINC. Was it Boink? Berkeley Open Infrastructure for Network Computing. Boink. So they were hosting several of the projects for distributing scientific data at home to run on your own computer. Well, you can go to a Boink workshop. I hope that's better than it sounds. But it's home computers are getting more and more powerful, and so business and military are even more powerful till it trickles back into home. Yeah, so it says they have about 30 projects running.
Skynet, here we come.
Yep. So you can calculate amicable numbers. Oh, asteroids at home. That's a good one. Searching for asteroids, especially near-Earth asteroids and Earth-crossing orbits.
Sounds like fun.
We don't want to be somewhere an asteroid is crossing our orbit when we are there. That would be pretty bad. Oh, and they've got one for Raspbian. So that's an OS for a Raspberry Pi. So you can get a Raspberry Pi and run this sitting on a shelf in your office. Neat. Dennis Einstein. So yeah, it looks as though there's a lot of different science available. Math, physics, astronomy. Oh, do Minecraft. So you can answer questions related to Minecraft if you like Minecraft. Cool. Oh, the LHC. So you can do try to find the next God particle. Which was actually, Higgs said it was a goddamn particle, but they didn't publish that part. They predicted it to exist, but they took them a while to find it. And still haven't created a black hole that sucked in all the Earth. Alrighty, anybody else have any newsy type stuff? Alright, shall we move into Q&A? Oops. I keep knocking stuff over. We're trying a different positioning and layout here so that Shirley can use the computer in the office. And that seems to have been working better than her iPad. Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
My wife and I share our network. How do I type up something on Note? And how does she type something for her schoolwork that we each other have to see? Or can they be password?
Yeah. So the question is, how do I do a shared document right now? You can do it in the Notes app. Let me bring my Notes app open here. And you can create a new note and then share that note to other people. So here's some notes. And there is a button for sharing. There we go. So share this note, the typical share sheet. And you can give people different access. So only invited people can access it, or you can make it anyone that has the link. And you can have it read-only, or that people can make changes. So if you want your wife to make changes, then you would have make it collaborate, invite her either in a message or in an email, and that does notes. The notes the Notes app has a lot of stuff available into it. You can even do pictures. This is a picture I had ages ago. Somebody had a Mac Pro cylinder and had like 50 devices plugged into it to show how expandable it was. I gotta make that bigger. If you want to do full, like word processing sharing, then you would use something like Pages. And let's see, I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to share my Pages window. And in Pages, you have a share button as well. Oh, yeah, I have to save it before it can be shared. And so you can allow other people to collaborate, or you can send just a single copy. But if you want them to be able to collaborate and edit that document, then you can send them a message or you can send them an email. And then when they open the document on their computer, or iPad or iPhone, they can make changes into that shared document. So I'm going to send a message to Shirley. This one. So that she can share that document if she wants.
How do I get into the Notes app in the first place? I know how to get it on my iPad, but how do I get it on my...
Just like you get to any app, you'd go to the applications folder under Notes, or you can use the launch pad to bring up more applications, or you can use the shortcuts, Command Space to bring up search, and then type Notes to find an app that way as well. There's a feature in Ventura now that if you move your cursor down to the lower right corner of the screen, you can do a quick note without taking the time to actually open the Notes app. And if you're on a website, you can use Google Docs. Both of you logged into Google, your Google account, and you can share documents that way through Google Docs, which can be a little more widespread because it works on any platform. Notes and Pages sharing only works on Apple platforms. All right, another question?
I've got a couple of things, Steve. I don't want to cut anybody else out here. They're little things. Does a iPad stylus sometimes just stop working, or is it the way I'm using it?
Is it a generic stylus or is it the Apple Pencil?
Yeah, no, it's not an Apple stylus. It's somebody else's.
So it's not a battery running out.
No, no battery.
Yeah. The iPads are a capacitance touchscreen. So when something touches it, it has to be electrically conductive. And so one of the things that got common some of the first winters after the iPhone came out is someone found out that a hot dog would control the iPhone screen while you had your hand in gloves. So it is possible that a stylus could wear out. Whatever, as you're drawing on the screen, it's probably scraping off a little bit of whatever that tip is, and maybe whatever coating on it that makes it conductive is coming off. But yeah, I've seen that wear out over time.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I mean, I've never been clear about how the thing worked. It's got this, rubber feeling tip on the end of it, and that's a special material or something, so that's interacting capacitively with the screen is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try it, a little bit longer, and maybe it's just some quirk in the way I'm using it, and something like that. And if that fails, then I'll just get another one and try that. I have a question about Mastermind Lounge and the users that show at the top of the screen when someone speaks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why backgrounds for those people are different colors? It sounds like a Nick question.
Yes.
It's no big deal. I was just.
Some of them are green. I wonder if it indicates what browser you're using.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't wondering about that. I'm getting mostly purple and blue, and the same thing happens over on the left in the user list.
Yeah.
But it's not a practical problem for me. I was just curious if you knew offhand.
It looks like the green ones, the microphone is on. The red one, the microphone is off. But the background colors of their initials, I don't know.
Right. That's what I was talking about. Just over in the user list, the colors you're talking about for the microphone are a smaller circle down to the lower right of the user circle. My next question is going to include Carol Areno here, because I think Carol, you might have referred to this. This is about my iPad Pro that does not have a earphone jack. And so and I'll try to maneuver this over in front of something where you can see it. Put it over that piece of wall if I can do it. Yes. So you've got a USB-C plug, goes into the USB-C port on the iPad, and then this box at the end has a USB-C port for power supply and a 3.5 millimeter earphone jack in it. And the last meeting I discussed this with Steve, and he showed me a thing in the control section on the iPad that might be involved in it. But I hate to admit it, because I think this is Belkin, and I think that's pretty good stuff, except that I have a feeling this one may be defective. I did get a connection with the earphone once when it was plugged in, and I rotated the plug. So it kind of makes me think it's a contact problem. And I try to use, good, reputable manufacturer stuff with my Apple equipment, so I don't, cause any problems. But I may just try. I saw that Walmart sells something like this for like $7 or something, instead of the 20 or 30 or whatever the hell this cost at Best Buy, and I may just try that. But it's limiting my use of the iPad to AirPods, which work, but for reasons I'll mention later when we get around to the hearing aid app section, it's a problem. So anyway,
Apple has one that's just the headphone jack for $9.
Right.
It is going to have that pass-through power if you're going to be on it for a very long time.
Right. All right, so unless anybody has any thoughts about that, I will get on to my last question for you, which is going to be, this will entail my switching to my iPad that I'm also running. So you may lose my voice for a moment. I'm going to turn off the sound on the MacBook, and I'm going to hook up my earphones. This is an older iPad that still has an earphone jack, which is nice. And I'm going to mute the the MacBook, which I just did, and kill my microphone. Come on. You can't. The MacBook is not a touchscreen. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, now I
You can tell
think
the
I
different
need to
quality
do
of the microphone.
screens.
You sound a lot tinnier.
Yeah, I'm going to need to do screen sharing to show you what I want to show you. So if you can give me permission for that, then I will try to do it.
Make you present.
My goodness, we're seeing two Charlies now.
I know it's overload.
Okay, you should have the presentation icon. Now you don't want.
Yeah, we see.
Yeah, you want the screen sharing one, not the presentation one.
Right.
Yeah, we see Charlie coming and going.
Yeah.
You're right.
Front
Really.
Side.
Am I good to go here?
Yep.
So I've got a little dot with a plus in it. Is that what I want to hit? Not at the bottom?
It should look like a squares. Like a screen.
Well, there's the presentation.
Yeah, not on the right-hand side. It should be in the center next to the microphone and video buttons.
Right. No. I'm trying to turn off the presentation thing. All right, so down on the bottom I have microphone, audio, and the camera.
And next to that.
And then I got this. I'm gonna hit this plus button, see what happens. Actions, blah blah blah. Nope.
Yeah, those are the only three icons I have as well. A microphone, a speaker.
When I give you presentation ability, you get a fourth icon there.
Oh, okay.
Oh crap.
Well, maybe you haven't done that.
And you're on the device called Charlie iPad.
Yes.
Yeah. So I can give presentation to Charlie computer and then back to Charlie iPad.
Presentation or screen sharing?
Screen sharing. It's called the presenter, and you get the screen sharing option.
Mm-hmm.
So you should have that fourth option.
Do I need to refresh or something?
No. Let me try my iPad, because maybe you can't do it on an iPad. Let me send my iPad to be presenter. So make presenter. Where's my iPad? There. Make presenter. No, that isn't working.
Well, I may have to simply verbally describe this to you then.
Are you in Safari or Chrome? Maybe it would work on Chrome.
Safari.
Yes, Safari is not good for using this app.
Well,
I have confirmed that.
What I may need to do then is open Chrome on the iPad and rejoin the meeting, so it'll take a little while if somebody else wants to talk about something. Why don't I try that?
No, I thought I tested that earlier on my iPhone. But no, it looks like it didn't work on the iPhone either.
In Safari?
Yeah.
All right, well, here I go. Let's see what happens. And the older iPad does not work the same as the new iPad Pro. If you swipe up with your finger to get the
Consistency is overrated.
Yeah.
But it is helpful sometimes. You probably can't. Can you hear me now?
Yes. I can give
Can you hear me now?
computer presenter ability. Do you see the presenter box show up there?
Yes.
Okay. So it does look like
so I'm going to get into Jesus. All right, now I'm going to join CIDER Lounge in my dreams.
That's interesting. It looks like there's an iPad app for Big Blue Button, which is the back-end video distributor.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
What I just got when I attempted to join Mastermind Lounge through the link from the CIDER homepage in Chrome on the iPad is a little box that says on iOS, please use Safari for full support.
Okay, that's weird.
It's quite a joke.
Yeah. I think I probably should just give up on that then. But I'll verbally describe to you what's going on, if that works for you.
Sure.
All right. Let me get rid of this. Chrome, go bye-bye. Back on Safari. What happens is on this iPad, which is an older iPad Air 2 that I actually got from George Engel, and it works fine. It's not on the latest iOS. I don't think it can go beyond whatever 15 or 14 or whatever it was. But somehow or other, at some point, there appeared on the screen on this iPad a sort of white dot down in the lower right-hand corner. And if I tap that, it opens up a box that has notification center with a bell on it. Down below that, a star that says custom, an image of an iPad that says device, another circle with a dot that says gestures, and down on the bottom, home, and then the last thing is control center. And if I tap that, what I get is the same thing that you get by swiping down from the upper right-hand corner, except not as frustrating because, I mean, that works, but sometimes it takes me a few swipes. And I tried looking around in settings to see if I could figure out where that original glowing dot came from.
That is probably the what's it called? Virtual home button.
Oh, Charlie's gone sideways.
I can't hear him anymore. I can't do it.
Charlie, I can't hear you.
Hear him anymore. Can't hear you, Charlie.
And you went sideways for some reason.
Turn turned his iPad sideways.
All right, I've turned on the microphone on the MacBook.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
And you're quite loud in my ears from the iPad. Okay, if that's a virtual, this is driving me crazy. Virtual home button, is that accessible in settings somewhere?
In settings, under accessibility, under touch, there's something called assistive touch.
Assistive touch?
Yeah. Okay, no, wait, I turned that on my iPad and I'm not seeing it. Turn on assistive touch. Yeah, settings, general, accessibility, assistive touch. I've turned it on. And you should get a white assistive touch button on screen somewhere.
I love it.
Maybe it's behind. No, it's not. It's not behind the.
So you just said general, but earlier I think you had said, oh yeah, okay, because accessibility is a separate category on the
Yeah, it's
thing.
been pulled out of general now.
And they want me to load something too, and it ain't happening. Back to general.
So virtual home button.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, you're okay. Yeah, my problem is now I'm in settings and I can't hear you through the earphones. So, so I will turn on. I knew this was going to be fun. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we're hearing you.
Okay, now I'm getting a sound out of the MacBook while I screw around with the iPad. Steve, did I want to go in the settings on iPad to general or into accessibility?
Accessibility, and then
Right.
assistive touch, but that didn't work the way.
So accessibility, and then touch under physical and motor. And there's okay, assistive touch is the one I want, and that is.
But I'm not seeing it turn on like it was supposed to.
Well, let me turn it off on mine and see. Yep, that you're right. The glow ball went away, and I hit it, and it comes back. All right, good.
That's interesting. I have mine turned on, and it doesn't do anything on the iPad. Oh, here it is. It came back. Now, on my iPad, it's white, not orange.
What is white?
The assistive touch button that then brings up the menu.
The what you're calling the virtual home button?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, mine is white also. It's not orange. I'm sorry.
I heard you say orange. So no. that was a popular thing years ago with iPhones where the home button broke, and it was so expensive to replace the home button, you could turn on a virtual home button.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for that.
Sure. Looks like Rick had his hand raised.
Okay, good.
Yes, I had a question. I think I was talking to you a little bit about iTunes. And the problem that I was having was that it looks like most of my iTunes somehow have gotten out into the cloud instead of being on my computer. And you said something about there was a setting or a preference that you could set that would make that not be the case. Could you please show me where that is and how you get to it?
There's a cloud status icon.
And actually, I guess it's not iTunes anymore. They call it Music.
Yeah, they've separated different features. So now music and movies and podcasts all have their own separate app. Alright, so there's a cloud status column that you can turn on in View Options. So that will tell you if it's on the cloud or not. Where's it? Cloud download and cloud status. There was also another one I found the other day that had location. I don't remember where that one was. So I've been playing with it more since I got a bunch of CDs for Christmas, so I've been ripping them and importing them into all of my devices. So it looks like I sorted by cloud status. I have nothing in the cloud. So if it was only in the cloud, there would be a little cloud icon. And
There's a download button there. You see the red down arrow?
So that will give you the option of downloading that from the cloud. So I went to View and only downloaded music. So I have 540 songs that are downloaded. And if I say all music, I still have 540 songs downloaded. So all of my music is downloaded. So I have nothing in the cloud.
So how come you still have an arrow pointing there as though you would be downloading it from the cloud?
It's dim.
Grayed out.
It's a grayed out arrow, so it doesn't do anything.
Okay, so how do I know then if it's in the cloud or not in the cloud?
If it has a cloud icon, it's in the cloud.
Okay. But if there's a down arrow, it means it's not in the cloud.
It means it is downloaded.
It is downloaded.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. I guess that was my confusion. So is there a way to set it one way or the other?
It depends on where you get your music from. Music that you rip yourself will always be downloaded. Music you buy from the store can be in the cloud or can be downloaded. If you subscribe to the iTunes Match music service, then it can upload all your music to the cloud so you can see it on your other devices.
So how do you say, I don't want to have any of my stuff in the cloud, I want it all on my computer?
Don't buy anything from a cloud service, and don't purchase iTunes Music, and don't purchase iTunes Match.
There's no way to do it, is what you're saying.
If you have a cloud service, you're going to get cloud music.
Well, are we talking about other services that are non-Apple?
No.
Or are you talking about Apple being included in that list?
This is only Apple services. Although
Only Apple.
Amazon Music will put music in your library as well. Yeah, and then there's an option to synchronize your music in your home. Oh, that's why, because I don't have home turned on. If you have home sharing turned on, then you can tell it to synchronize your music across your devices, and it does that through the cloud as well. That is limited to 100,000 songs.
Alright, well, I'll just have to remember that I'm less happy with Apple Music than I ever was before.
Well, at the point of Apple Music is nothing is downloaded. Everything is on the cloud, and you stream it when you want to listen to something.
Yeah, I don't like that. Never do.
Yeah, Spotify, Pandora, Diesel, there's a bunch of services now do it that way. So you pay $10 a month instead of buying $20 a CD.
Okay, that brings up another point. Is there any way to play like an audio file, an MP3 or something, without going through iTunes?
Use another MP3 player. You could use QuickTime. You can use Quick Look on the desktop. You could use VLC. There's a bunch of other MP3 players.
Okay, so use a third-party app and just keep my music in some folder somewhere on my computer.
Yeah, or you could use an Apple app. You can use QuickTime or Quick Look to play MP3s. Or even the Get Info window will play an MP3.
Yeah. I'm just, I'm feeling like I don't want to trust Apple anymore with my music. Okay, well, thank you, Steve. You answered my question.
Yep. Now, if I turn home sharing on, so I've been playing with this home sharing. If you have multiple devices, no, that's the wrong password. I don't remember the CIDER password offhand. If you have multiple devices, you can turn on home sharing and see all of your music on all of your devices. They have moved where home sharing is depending on the system version you've got. Let's see. So it used to be in iTunes itself. There in the file menu there was a home sharing command. I think around Monterey is where it moved into system settings or system preferences, and now in Ventura it's under system settings. Let's see. Let me change my sharing window. Close that. And stop sharing that. We'll get to you in just a minute, Kim. And we'll share settings. So you have a sharing setting in system preferences. Since I'm running Ventura, the whole system preferences system setting thing looks completely different. But you now have an option called media sharing, and that will share your media to other devices on your network. So for example, I have all my music on my main computer, and I can see and play that music from the other computers by turning on home sharing. So home sharing is when I share the music on this computer out to another computer. I should be able to, yep, here we go. Let me share that again. In the music, back to the music app. I know I'm bouncing around pretty fast here. In the music app under library, you normally see your own library. But you may notice a little tiny arrow, and I can look at the music under my other computer. So now it's loading the music from my other computer, and I can play that music from my other computer, and I can even import that music into this computer if I want. I just happened to pick ABBA because that was alphabetically at the top. We can go to recent and bring up Hailstorm. So that's kind of handy if you keep all your music on your, like a main iMac, but on your phone and your tablet you still want to be able to play that music. You can play it without needing to put it on that other computer. Did that playing make it through to the mastermind? Or it may have isolated.
Well, I heard something playing. I don't know if it was just playing through the speakers or what.
It did make it through, but yeah. So by using that home sharing, you can switch to different computers. In fact, if you have multiple computers, each one can share its own library versus the library on your local computer. So that's a neat way to listen to music that lives on one computer on other computers. And also in the music window, there's a AirPlay button. So if you have an Apple TV, you can send the music from your computer to your Apple TV, which you probably have connected to big TV speakers or a surround sound system. So you can also play that as well and play your music through your bigger speakers.
Quick question, Steve. I'm kind of getting lost in this, and I don't expect to fully understand it. But if a person with an iPhone is away from home, like their home network, can they access their music unless it's just stored on the iPhone?
Not through home sharing. That's what you use iTunes Match or Apple Music for. Home sharing only works when you're connected to the same network.
That's what I figured. Yeah. Thank you.
Originally, when Apple first introduced the feature, it did work over the internet, and the recording industry started screaming about people stealing music. So Apple had to remove that feature.
Okay, so is there a way for me to play music not using iTunes on my iPod Touch or on my iPad?
With a different MP3 player.
And who makes those? Is it just an app to the App Store?
Yeah, just an app in the App Store. I know I've used VLC.
All right. I'll have to look for that. Thanks.
I think the Files app will play music and video. Yeah, it looks like it is. So if you have an MP3 or MOV on your device, you can play it.
What's an MOV, Steve?
Movie file. Movie. It probably does H.264 and QuickTime. Yeah. So the Files app is playing an MP3 on my iPad now without going through iTunes. Now, how do I get it to stop? Switch back to YouTube.
There used to be a way to make your podcast play at 2x or 3 times faster. Is that still an option?
Yep. Shirley yells at me every time she gets in the car because I play them at 2x because I'm 3 months behind on my podcast, so I'm trying to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring the podcast app open, and we'll switch over to that.
There's another app that you can use.
There's a lot of podcast apps. Yeah, you don't have to use Apple's.
Ina, I-I-N-A.
Yeah.
It's for the Mac. And that works pretty well.
I've used.
You can also do video with
Pocket Cast.
Member supported Jazz 90.1.
Yeah, in the Apple app, I don't see the faster, slower commands. But in the iOS app, it does. But I've got a jump forward and a play forward. Oh, here it is, playback speed. It's in the menu. So you can go as low as 7.5, 3/4 speed or double speed. And that's in the Apple Podcast app.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
All right. Kim, you had a question, and then we'll do Ken.
Am I here now?
Yep.
Okay. Oh gosh, I just hit a bunch of random keys. Okay, so on this new computer, so it's 10.13, and that's the highest it would go, you said, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Because everything. Oh,
So go to the Apple menu and choose About This Mac, and see what year it is. I'm pretty sure I put the newest one on it.
2011. March 2011.
Yeah, 10.13 is the newest OS for the mid 2011.
His GarageBand needed 11.5 or something, and no, iMovie needed 11.5. GarageBand needed 12 point something.
You need to download the older versions.
How do I do that?
Go into your purchase list and find it from there.
Purchase list? What is that? Where's
in the store?
In the store.
Let me show you that again.
Oh, pardon me. I hurt my back. I can barely move. So sorry, I'm screaming.
So if you go into the App Store, and then there is where is it? Account settings. And it shows you your purchases, so you go back to the previous time you had it and you can download it again.
Okay, I have no idea what you did because I can't see it on my little screen.
You go into the App Store, click on your account information, your account icon.
Oh, purchased? Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. You must sign in to view your purchases.
So you can go back and see your purchases. And then re-download an old program.
Being tied to an Apple ID?
Yes.
No. That requires me figuring out an Apple ID and which one I use for what and figuring out passwords.
I can. Well, I say I can bring an installer next time we meet. I thought I put it on there though. Maybe not.
So if it's something free that comes with the computer or used to, like GarageBand and iMovie, do I need an Apple ID to get them?
Yeah.
Oh.
You'd have had to confirm the purchase of it with the computer.
Steve?
Yeah.
Steve? When you go to the App Store, won't it download the latest version? I believe.
If the latest version is supported by your OS. If it's not, then it won't download it.
Right. So Kim may have a problem, if her computer is a 2011 and she goes to download something from earlier and she doesn't have, the right operating system, she's not going to be able to download it.
If it doesn't support her operating system, yes. But the old Apple iLife apps did support the old OSs and can be downloaded that way.
Okay.
I just have to find an Apple ID.
I can also bring you a if we when are we going to meet again? Next Christmas? the picnic maybe. Maybe I can mail you a flash drive that has the installers on it. I thought I put them on there already though, because I tried to do that. Because the iLife apps are not included as part of the operating system install, so they have to be installed separately.
They're not on the bottom, unless they're just not showing up in the...
Oh, they may not be in the dock at all. No, you have to go to the applications folder to see all your applications.
Well, oh, God.
Can I interrupt quickly to ask Kim, how did this start? You were trying to get old music that you used to have, or what?
No, I was trying to I'm trying to send videos and they're too big for email, so I wanted to compress them, and so I wanted iMovie or Garage. I don't know. Anything. Either. Yeah. Well, I wanted to. I'll be honest. I did it to Dropbox, and he couldn't get into Dropbox, and so I was trying to compress them basically, and I can't compress it on the computer either. Is
Compressing
there a
won't
reason
help
I
any.
can't?
You can't compress
What?
a video. It's already compressed as much as it can be. You have to re-encode it at a lower quality.
What you do, Handbrake?
Yeah, you could do Handbrake and re-encode it at a lower quality.
Handbrake.
There used to be one called MPEG Streamclip, but that doesn't exist anymore. I got really annoyed when they shut down. Although you might still be able to find it for 10.13.
Wait, what was it called?
MPEG Streamclip. Let me post it into the chat. Oops.
What kind of videos do you have?
iPhone videos.
But are they MP4s? Are they .movs? Are they?
If they were shot on the iPhone, they're probably H.263 or H.264. Yeah, there's a bunch of different programs you can download for re-encoding the file. Yeah, iMovie is one of them. MPEG Streamclip, I think it says it'll work on 10.13.
Oh my god.
For Mac, version 1.9 is the current version. And it will requires Snow Leopard. There's requirements. 10.5, 10.6, 10.7, 10.8. It'll probably work on 10.13. It's probably still 32-bit. That's why it doesn't work on newer OSs.
I tried to do one on the iPhone and it didn't work. I don't remember what it was.
You can, oops. I just noticed my Wi-Fi is still off from an earlier test. You can change the resolution of the camera settings so you can record them at a smaller size.
Yeah, but these are old ones that before I had the voice recorder. So now I record everything audio like this that I might need. But I was just shooting it video so that I could get the audio at the time. Well, no, some I shoot video because I need the video, but at the time I'm doing this, I'm not necessarily having enough warning to go in and change a video setting. Video compress is the one, but I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't figure it out on the iPhone. Do you know one for the iPhone to just do it there? That works.
And it's not a compression, it's a re-encoding. Cameras, camera settings, camera formats. Yeah, so you can lower the recording. 720p at 30 frames per second is as small as my camera will go. And it will go up to 4K at 60 frames per second at the high end.
Steve, should I be seeing this on a shared screen thing or not?
No, I was on my iPhone.
Okay, fine.
So if we search for, I can bring up the shared Safari window again. And we want iPhone video encoding. Video re-encoding, basically. Record video, change the setting, recording apps. Nope. iPhone, make video smaller. We don't want to compress it, we want to re-encode it.
Just a trivia question about Tech Talk. If there's a word such as embiggen, is there also a word such as ensmallen?
Probably.
Enlargen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's my little pet peeve here about that is that nerds had to go and create a word embiggen when we already had enlarge, which worked just fine.
Yeah.
If you happen to be brought up speaking English.
Here's one called compress and resize. So resizing a video. Yeah, reduces the size of iPhone videos. iPhone media converter. So there are a few of them that will work on the phone. I think even iMovie on the phone will do it too.
What were the other ones you just said?
There's one called Video Compress, Shrink Videos. Let's see, does that have... Oh, it's got 5 stars with 2 ratings. I don't know how much I would like that. And one of the ratings says very God.
I think that's the one I tried because I read about it somewhere. What was the other one?
Compress video and resize video.
How original.
Yeah. So 4.7 with 9,000 ratings. That's pretty good. Works with MOV, MP4, M4V, and H.264. And Apple's newest format is HEVIC. You need a good acronym. HEVIC is, it's the high efficiency video codec, but HEVIC is hard to pronounce.
Is it HEVIC or is it HVAC?
Yeah. HEVIC.
HVAC. I'm just civic. Just when you needed something.
Yeah. So that's a couple ways that might work. Or if you import it into the computer, then you can use one on the computer too.
Is there a way to remove the video and just keep the audio?
With a video editor.
Oh, right.
Let's see. Extract audio. Audio extractor. Adobe's got one. Some online ones. Yeah, it looks like there's a bunch of those as well. So half the trick is knowing what search words to use. So extracting audio from video will find you a bunch of options. All right, we're getting close to 9 o'clock. Should we probably take a break and then move into our presentation?
I can't get this to work on the computer either. It's saying I have to upgrade my, was it browser or OS?
What
I mean,
what are you trying to get to work?
this meeting, I can't get the meeting to work on it.
You probably need to update your browser. That's Chrome for 10.13. Let's see. If the current version yeah, the current version of Chrome still works on 10.13.
Oh, so I should use Chrome, not Safari?
Yeah.
Oh, if the maniacs of the White House got from my stove and from my hands.
All right, I was still looking for the app. App. Window. App. I don't know what I'm saying.
Now, as a rule of thumb, anytime you see them going crazy about something on Fox News, you've got about an 80% chance it's just outright nonsense. So before you sign on to Dr. Rossi's stove petition,
Chrome.
this is about. It all started Monday when a member of the U.S. Consumer Product.
Alrighty.
So go to Safari and get Chrome, and then get Chrome.
Yep.
And one last just stupid thing. How do I change the scrolling of my mouse? I'm in mouse. Where's the thing how do I change the direction of the scrolling?
That should be in the mouse settings.
I'm not seeing it. Am I stupid? I'm just in pain. Tracking speed, double click, scrolling, slow, fast.
Scrolling, yeah.
But I don't see the direction anywhere.
You may not be able to in 10.13. When did they add scroll direction? So Mac OS, they called it natural scrolling. Natural or unnatural. This was in 2020. So they added that in 10.7. So systems preferences, mouse preferences. Go to point and click and remove the check mark next to scroll direction.
Okay, system preferences, mouse.
Yep.
And then what?
At the top, uncheck natural scroll direction.
Oh god, scroll direction natural. Oh god. Oh, that was like so easy. I couldn't see. I just didn't see it right at the top. It was like out of my frame of vision. Thanks. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so are we ready to take a 10-minute break? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so it's 8:49, so let's meet at 9 o'clock then. Right?
All right, sounds good.
I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.
can't hear anybody because everybody is muted.
Pardon?
I can't hear anybody because everybody is muted.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Bob.
Oh, there's one that's not muted. Is that Kim?
Yep. How are you?
Oh, I thought you were muted.
No, I just unmuted.
Oh.
I was saying it was real quiet because everybody is muted, and it turns out you're not. It's just
I was, but I thought I'd say hi.
How you doing?
Oh, having COVID and injuring your back at the same time is not a good combo. Don't try that at home.
You have COVID right now?
Well, I got it like New Year's, and it really wasn't bad. I just had like sinuses, runny nose, and like, and then it went away. Then all of a sudden yesterday, my nose started running again for no reason, and then it's gone today. But my back, I just like out of a sitcom, I bent over to get something in the refrigerator, and my back got stuck. And I said, I thought this only happened on TV.
Did you test to see if you're positive?
What, COVID? Oh, I was on New Year's. I was no longer a few days ago.
But you said symptoms came back. You haven't
Just
tested?
a runny nose. It was weird. I don't know why all of a sudden yesterday I had a runny nose.
I got a runny nose all the time.
But my back is really the worst of it because I can't move. It hurts to move at all. Literally. At all. Move. So it's not fun.
I appreciate that.
I lean against this massager in my chair. I have ibuprofen and acetaminophen and muscle relaxants, and I'm just trying.
Yeah.
Waiting, staying in bed, sleeping, resting.
I had a back problem a couple months ago. I just bent over a little bit and a little bit to the side. Oh, I was out for like 3 weeks. It was really painful. But
Yeah.
it just went away.
Did you take anything?
Not really. I put a heat pad on it.
Did you move? Bend?
Yeah, a little bit, but very gingerly. I like that word, gingerly.
I do still have like a little cough. I was lucky I didn't get a chest cough with this version, so which is usually what causes me the most trouble. So I still have a tiny bit of a like residual cough, which isn't good with the back pain. But yeah, usually I sleep, then I get up and I lean against the massager, and it loosens it up a little, and I can at least move around for a bit in the evening, and then. If I do too much, though, like I cook a little or cut some vegetables, then I end up in so much pain I can't, I'm like gonna pass out. So, yeah, it's not been good, and it's already been 9 days.
You don't have an image up there, do you? I don't see an image.
Oh no, let's see. Oh, okay. Hi. Oh, can you see me now?
No.
You have to turn on your camera.
Hi.
There it is.
These.
Yeah, I see you now.
These little thumbnails are like 1/4 of an inch on the iPhone.
Well, you look the same size as everyone else on my screen.
It's not letting me scroll over to see people right now.
Maybe because the screen sharing was on.
I see somebody's glasses. Is that Carol?
No.
Frank. Oh, Bob.
Oh, Sally.
Maybe because screen sharing was on, it wasn't It was showing you the screen sharing rather than the people.
Oh, the people. We the people. Okay, just ignore me.
If you're seeing a reflection off glasses, it could be Shirley.
Yeah.
So we got
behind her.
1, 2, 3, 4. We got about 8 people with glasses. 4 there.
See, I have me and 2 other tiny little things.
More likely.
5.
Bob and Kim don't have glasses.
7. Yep.
I only said Shirley because of Shirley's lighting situation. The reflection on her glasses shows up well.
Yes.
Yeah, an A+ for reflection.
Next time I'll try and get a.
Yeah. You
right.
gotta use my computer or have the light in front of you.
It's just that she's shrouded in mystery there.
Yes, this time, but at least I didn't have any problems logging in or any other issues whatsoever.
Right.
Shirley's very dark. Shirley looks like a ghost to me in my little 1/4-inch little picture. It's like this dark image against a bright background.
Yeah. Oh.
Applications. Why are my applications all grayed out? iTunes. What is that? Oh, I gotta move. I can't read it. I can't. I don't see iMovie or GarageBand under application.
Yeah, they don't come with the operating system. They have to be installed separately. And I apparently forgot to do that.
No, I lost it. I closed the window. I'm so stupid. Where's that? Applications folder.
Okay. So Charlie, there may be. Let me take my glasses off so don't have too many reflections. There may be a way to screen share from your iPhone to your computer.
No GarageBand.
And then from the computer to the lounge.
Why can't I bring my video into QuickTime from photos?
You probably can.
What is the basic task that you want to achieve?
Make the file smaller.
But why?
I have so that I can email it. I have 2 separate things. For one, I wanted to make the file smaller so I could email it. Then for another, I'd like to remove the video and just send the audio. They're 2 separate issues. 2 separate people. 2 separate... Oh, right. Yeah. Make me remember more passwords. Not good. Oh, okay, I'm going to stop the video because I got to set the phone down. Too tiring. Oh.
Yep.
Steve, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. right, should we restart? Is everybody ready to go? It's 9 o'clock.
I think.
Yep,
Yeah, I think
ready
I've
to
got
go.
it figured out for Charlie. If you turn on AirPlay Receiver on your Mac, then you can send your iPhone video to the computer, and then from the computer send it to the lounge.
That's nice. What was my problem?
Showing the iPhone apps in the lounge.
The iPhone apps. Was this me or Kim or who?
For you to be able to show your the iPhone apps that you were going to show off.
Yeah, well, I figured I would do that from the iPad.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yep.
I have a question, though, which is that I had made some notes in Notes, and I copied them, and then I pasted them into the public chat here in Mastermind Lounge, and it double pasted them. And I don't know if there's any way to undo that. It's not going to harm anything. It's just repeated once.
You hit paste twice, maybe.
Well, yeah, Control V, Command V, and I've had that happen other times. And when I'm just in something on the Mac, I can hit Command Z, and it'll usually get rid of the second pasting.
Yep.
But it doesn't have any effect here. Don't sweat this. Don't sweat this too much, because I don't think there's any size limit on what we can have in the chat.
No.
And
I can clear the entire chat and start
No.
it again.
No, I don't want to spoil it for, there's other information in there that people might find useful. It's not going to be a problem for me. Those equalizers in those apps are only applicable to material you're listening to from those apps, correct?
Pretty sure, yeah.
No, I think that you can use it live with any microphone.
Okay, now we're getting into another topic also, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because there are equalizers that you can get that would be used by people who are musicians like Rick. I am not, to fiddle with the sound going into a recording from different instruments and so on and so forth. And I think that's what you're alluding to in the GarageBand app, for example. And then they can probably also affect how that music sounds coming back out of the app or through it or something?
Yeah, basically you're using the app as a pass-through, and you're using the equalizers as a filter. And so you can listen to it, you can monitor it live while you're making the recording, and you can hear the changes as you work with it.
Okay, and you might want to talk about that kind of thing later, because I'm not doing that. In my thrashing around, I ended up downloading a thing called Reaper, which apparently is a fairly powerful app for doing that input and modification. And if you can, I don't know, I guess at some point, Steve, I'm going to need you to ask you to let me show my screen from my MacBook again.
Okay.
But at any rate, so I downloaded the Reaper app, which is free with a 60-day trial period, but also includes all those features I don't really need. But again, I was just kind of thrashing around trying to figure stuff out. What I was looking for my Mac was an equalizer that would let me modify the sound coming from YouTube videos, for example, which on my Mac I get through a browser. I don't have an app on the Mac for YouTube. And I did find something, but before I found that, I got into this Reaper thing. And when Steve lets me, okay, now I can share my screen.
Yep.
All right, yeah, allow. Okay, your screen is loading and it's very small.
Well, you probably don't want to share the screen. You want to share a window.
All right, how do I do that?
In the previous box, instead of picking the screen, use the tab that says window.
I think we might have gone through this before because that button on the bottom allows me to share screen. When I put that on, it does not come up with a choice of share screen or share window.
It may only work in Chrome then. That's annoying.
And I don't know. All right, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, which will be tiny, and then I'm going to see what happens if I try to use Command Plus on it. It goes backwards, right? Yeah, and it stops, and that's
switch to the program you want to show, and then hide the other apps. Because right now we can see everything on your screen, including the dock and the menu bar and everything.
Right. And you want me to try to switch to what?
Well, if you didn't get the option to share a window in Safari, it probably can't, so you have to use Chrome. But if you switch to the app you want to show off and then make it fill the screen, that should be okay.
I will be getting there. I will first make this comment. When I go up to the top here, and you probably don't see that, but if I click on the status icon bar on the speaker for the sound, the choices I get is
and if you hold the Option key down, you can change the inputs and the outputs
to work with. Okay. I don't actually want to mess with it right now. I got it to deal with Reaper, and I have since deleted Reaper or to use TechSpeak, uninstall Reaper from my MacBook. But I tried to do that with Black Hole, and it did not get rid of it completely. On the other hand, it doesn't matter because when I have
it sticks itself deeper into the system. I use it too. In fact, I'm using it right now. But it has to be uninstalled differently because it digs itself into the system.
I don't think it's any hazard or threat to my system.
No, just you may accidentally set your input or your output to it. Oh, I should have asked Lyle that.
Yeah.
Well, he probably doesn't have any weird sound things like that because Lyle wasn't getting any sound.
He wasn't getting what?
Lyle wasn't getting any sound when he was here. He couldn't hear us.
Oh,
we could hear
right.
him, but he couldn't hear us.
So,
set right. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway, so I'm not worried about that stuff. You can forget about black hole. What I'm going to get to now is a thing. I don't know exactly how you're supposed to pronounce it, but it's EQ Mac. Now, I want to mention at this point that I have loaded the notes I made for this little talk into the chat in Mastermind. And as I was just telling Steve, I accidentally loaded them twice. So where we are in, if you want to, this is not a presentation. I don't know how to use Keynote. So I'm just kind of winging it here. But the first thing on those notes that I put in is EQ MAC, and I just call it EQ Mac. And I have a link there to their site. I did not find this in the App Store. I had to download it from this eqmac.app, and I'm not sure what the .app domain is, but anyway, that's it. So I can go to that here and see what happens. And with sharing screen, I don't know if that'll show up. Can people, well, it was there, okay, there, can I have a cookie? Yeah. Can you see the EQ Mac website now on my screen?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so that's where you get it from. And it's a little weird because it just says download it, but they have different versions of it. Two levels of them are free, and I'll show you that in a minute. But if you take a tour on it, it just shows you this basic equalizer thing is what I got, and the other stuff. And Doug has mentioned, and I want to mention in this thing, that when we were looking into hearing aid apps and filtering for free ones, as it won't surprise anybody to know that there are some things that are free, but to get all the features you have to pay for a subscription. But one site that I looked at the fine print in the App Store, and the impression I got was that company, yes, you could download their app for free, but when you did so, it immediately charged you for your first month of paid subscription. So if you play with any of this stuff, keep an eye out for that. And this is a kind of a large version of the basic thing. I'll start up here at the top. There's a volume control. There's a balance left and right. There's some things that, of course, this isn't what I have installed. I should probably use what I have installed. I'll do that. So I'm going to shut this and hopefully end up back where I was. What I'm going to try to do, so this does allow me to affect the way stuff sounds on YouTube video. Now, what I'm going to try to do now, here I have the YouTube. Is someone asking a question or wants to speak? I see Doug lit up there.
My battery died, so I'm changing devices.
All right. Now I'm going to click on this. This is EQ Mac down in my dock, and I will click on that and see if it comes up. Try it again. There we go. All right. Can you people see that, whatever you call this box full of the controls for EQ Mac?
Yep. Try making it full screen and see if it gets bigger.
Oh, I got the.
Not in Safari, in the EQ Mac.
Right. How do I undo what the heck I did here? Click it again.
Well,
okay.
That's just how you're viewing the Mastermind, since you've got your whole screen showing. But
right.
hide the Safari window and go back to EQ Mac. Now try making the EQ Mac window bigger.
By hitting the green dot?
Green button, yeah. didn't.
You're saying I should shrink Safari to do that?
No, I was just saying get Safari out of the way so you could see the EQ Mac. Because right now we're feeding video into video into video infinitely. Because your Mastermind Lounge is showing on my Mastermind Lounge, which is showing your Mastermind Lounge, which is showing mine.
I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that effect on my computer.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on the YouTube chat.
The YouTube chat.
Not chat. Yeah, the YouTube and Facebook videos. We're getting multiple video shots because it's showing your video too.
What do I need?
Minimize Safari.
All right. Now you should have my desktop and the EQ Mac thing.
EQ Mac, yeah, and it's interesting the EQ Mac won't go any bigger.
Well, I haven't tried it.
Oh.
Since I did that, no, that just moved it around. And EQ Mac, as you may be able to see up in the menu bar, only has one option, and that's edit.
Yeah.
I made it disappear again. I keep it in the dock, and I also leave it on, which I don't do with most apps because of battery drain. But when I quit using my computer for the night and turn off the power supply to it, the next day when I open it up again, there's little to no power drain from the battery overnight from leaving EQ Mac open.
To enlarge it, can you go to the lower right-hand corner and drag it?
Of the window.
Yeah.
I want to go to the lower right-hand corner of what?
Of the EQ Mac
the window that you want to enlarge.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm looking for the little arrow that two-headed.
No,
I've seen Windows not shrink, but it's odd that it won't grow bigger. So it's a fixed size.
Well, anyway, I'm not going to explain how well. Let me buzz down through it again. There's an overall volume control. There's a volume boost thing you can hit. There's a balance. Some of these things I haven't even looked at, and I'm not going to worry about because, and I'll show you in a minute. When you get down here, you see where it says Basic, Advanced, and Expert? And people see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to open Expert. Expert is for the paid version. And I think that when I did open it, in order to get back out of the Expert tab, I had to close the app and then open it again. So if anybody's interested, they can look at the company's website and see what the Expert offers you. I don't know whether it involves input stuff like that Reaper thing or something else like that. But if you do Basic, you get 3 volume dials for bass, mid, and treble. And these are interesting because I don't really know how to work them. I'll kind of click here and pull, and it moves a little bit, and then it goes backwards. And anybody know how you're supposed to use these things?
I would think that would turn it up or down. But you've got 2 knobbies, maybe, the inner knob and the outer knob.
Yeah, maybe.
Lived into being on a winning college volleyball team. Learned about all of these things. But today,
what media are you modifying?
Basically YouTube videos.
Well, this will change anything that's playing. Right now,
Exactly.
you've got nothing playing, so maybe that's why nothing is working.
Well, okay. I'm going to go to the advanced. Now, the advanced gives you a range of across the audio spectrum, and it will allow you to change it. Right now, you'll see up here it's set on spoken word. You can select manual, and if you do this and click on these things, you can move them up and down, and that does have an effect. But you can also select preset spectra or whatever you want to call them. For instance, if I move to flat, everything's right across the middle there. If I move to There's voice booster. That's interesting. There's another category that I was using recently called spoken word, and you can see that boosts the mid range, but not so much the high end or the low end. And what you do, and you may not be able to see this, is if I go up into my volume thing on the status bar, it's going to say built-in output. And when I downloaded EQMac, there was a step in it when it said I needed to download an audio driver. And I just said, yes, you're fine. And have no idea what or where that is, but it's just part of the operation of the app.
And that's what what attaches the EQMac program to your built-in output. So it doesn't show as a separate output; it's tied to the built-in output.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Well, what I would like to try to do, if I can, is I'll set this to treble booster. And I'm going to screw around with it and actually move these things up higher. And probably I won't hear that end of it, but other people might. But and then I'm going to bring Safari back up. Yep. And I'm going to try to go into crap. I had YouTube open in Safari earlier. And another topic came up in the course of my looking around, which was MIDI, M-I-D-I, and Steve can explain what that is more. I gather that's a protocol for permitting you to connect various musical instruments to the input of an equalizer program.
Basically, yeah. So you can plug a guitar or keyboard into your computer and play it into like GarageBand. Rather than recording it as an audio waveform, it actually records the keystrokes, so you can edit it later. Steve Jobs did a demo of that with John Mayer, and John Mayer was playing a keyboard into GarageBand, and Steve clicked a couple of buttons and changed it to a piano sound, and then changed it to a guitar sound. And so that was really weird watching him play what looked like a piano keyboard, and hearing guitar sounds come out of the speakers. But by using a MIDI device like that, you are controlling the individual notes and not actually recording an audio waveform, so it can be changed easier.
This is irking me because earlier, this is what I want. We'll try this.
The MIDI is data. It's not music.
Right.
Or audio, I should say.
No, I don't want that, whatever it is either. And I'm going to go about an inch in this So, can you hear me talking now?
We hear you talking, but we don't hear the video.
So you're not hearing any music from the video?
No.
Correct?
Correct.
Are you seeing the video
I can barely hear it. Try turning the volume on the computer up higher. And then it's going to turn your headset up higher. Actually, you know what it is? The YouTube is going out of the output device, which is going into your headset, I bet.
Well, I'm getting a little feedback.
I don't have a headphone plugged into the MacBook at the moment. The output is coming through the built-in output of the EQMac. So you're not hearing anything, right?
Right.
I'm not going to try to troubleshoot that to figure it out. I had hoped that I would be able to run that music video God's name here.
You need to create, yeah, you need to create a multi-output device that has the EQ Mac and the speakers together. Or send them both into black hole and then black hole to the speakers. Yeah, so if you set it to internal speakers.
You see, I clicked on, but you maybe not be able to see it. Yeah. I clicked on black hole, and it just snapped back to
set it to
no, it snapped back to black hole 2-channel EQ Mac.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's see what happens.
Well, now it's going out black hole.
Try that again here.
Set it to speakers, so it'll play out of the speakers and not out of the headphone jack.
Come on. And now I'm hearing nothing.
Change the output to go to
never mind.
Yeah, you can't hear me because.
All right, let me come back to the meeting. Here I am in the meeting.
You're not going to hear any of us.
Anyhow,
until you.
That's what that is. That's the EQ Mac thing, and it works. It's only for Mac OS, not for iOS. So that's what I'm using and playing with on my MacBook. And okay, I mentioned the other options, which are the proprietary or whatever you want to call them apps from companies that make hearing aids, and I'm not getting into that one. And can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Boy, you can't hear me at all. I can't hear me. Where the hell am I? Let me try this.
Back internal speakers. Internal speakers up.
It's not working for me.
Higher. Go to internal speakers.
Crap. What do we got here?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Go to internal speakers.
You cannot hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
He can't hear us because his audio is not going to the speaker.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. You can't hear us, apparently.
Change it to speakers. I put it in the chat. Look at the chat.
Raise or type him on.
No, my mic is on.
Change your speaker. Scroll down. You gotta
this is embarrassing, but can anybody hear me?
Scroll in the chat, and then you'll see my typing.
Not at all. Huh.
All right. Notice my message there, Charlie. Change your audio back to the speakers. He's almost there. Almost. No.
You better send him a sign. Write a sign and hold it up.
Yeah, that's good, Carol. If he notices. Change audio. It needs to be heavy, thicker. Now do what it says. Do what it says there.
Oh my God.
Do what it says, Charlie.
This is too funny. This is too funny. Charlie, look at the screen.
Or headphones.
If we all.
Yeah.
Everybody raise your hand and wave your hands.
There he goes. Come on. Yay! There we are. Now you can hear us. No! All right. Yeah.
Yay!
Okay.
Can you hear us now?
Oh, that's not good.
All right, he ended his screen share anyway. That's okay.
Oh, that was so funny. Probably not for him, but it was
Yeah,
funny.
you can't hear what we're saying because his audio is not set to the speaker.
Yeah.
It's set to a black hole.
Oh.
Well, Doug, did you have some you were going to show?
Yeah, my experience is that almost all of the apps I looked at wanted monthly subscriptions. So I more or less refused to go any further. Some were, let's see, I hope this one, e-bikes, giant ears. One called Giant Ears. It wanted my credit card right away. I said,
Ooh.
no. Okay. So I stopped. The next one was called Hearing Aid. That was $16 a month. So I stopped. The next one was called Amp Volume Booster. Volume Booster. That was $4 a week.
Wow.
I stopped. And then Thrive is really to control your hearing aid. So I don't have a hearing aid, so I stopped on that one. What I needed to say tonight was that my daughter got an iPhone 14 over in December. And in that impossibly small to read little booklet that comes inside the box, it did suggest that there was information about hearing aids. And I think you need to go to tips. So is that anybody aware of tips on your, well, this is, but tips. There are all kinds of ideas and there that help you improve your enjoyment of your eye product. And also, just today, I realized on my iPhone, I have a research app, which I don't know where that came from. But I tapped on it, and sure enough, it has, they want to collect information about your hearing issues. Let's see if I can even begin to. The problem there is that research isn't on my tablet. Let's see, research.
I think it's only on phones with iOS 16.
Yeah, so and I'm now, because of my battery died on this, now I'm using my iPhone. So if you find research, you probably get entered into a study. And I'm wondering if Charlie can hear this, but he and I are interested in our hearing. And for all of you, what started all this was that I was able about 7 or 8 years ago to use my iPod Touch and let my father could hear me better if I spoke into it, and he was using my hearing earbuds. He could hear me better. Instead of shouting at him, I was able to speak into the iPod Touch. And that, I can't seem to find that anymore. That's what got me started on hoping that all of you would, that together we would discover different apps that might someday really be very helpful to us. That was my goal. And Charlie took it to the nth degree there with equalizers.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Charlie.
Yes.
Okay. It turned out that what I had to do was close the EQ Mac app. And I also rejoined, quit and rejoined the Mastermind Lounge meeting. And so exactly, I don't think that was a problem. I think for whatever reason, I had to shut the EQ Mac thing. Mac thing. But one of the interesting things about leaving this meeting and rejoining it is that unlike the Zoom meeting chat, the chat, the stuff that was in the chat before I left it was still there when I came back. So anyway, but Doug, I'm sorry I didn't. Oh, you have the power.
I'm in control, yeah.
All right. Well, that means we can blame everything on you. Doug, I apologize that I didn't hear. I heard your talk beginning with when you were talking about how you used to use the iPhone to enable your dad to hear you and so on.
Well, before that, Charlie, I basically discussed that every app I tested or looked at wanted about $15 or $16 a month, and some of them wanted a credit card right up front.
Yeah,
right. Giant Ear, the one that you talked about, it's free for 5 minutes.
Minutes.
Yeah, and it's $1.99 to remove the time limits. So that's not very expensive.
No.
Steve, do you think that that's $1.99 to permanently remove the time limit, or is it $1.99 a month?
It should be $1.99 period, or it would give a duration.
Yeah, maybe.
Month.
But all of it.
Yeah, but to just do that, this one, that feature is built into iOS now, and it's called Listen Live.
Oh, good.
And you can do it with with AirPods or with a wired headset. And when you swipe up from the control center at the bottom, you tap on the little hearing aid icon, and that will turn on the Listen Live feature, so that you put your phone next to someone and you hear them in your AirPods, or vice versa. If they're hard of hearing, you give them the headphone and you talk into your iPhone.
Yes. Oh, thank you. That's what I've been looking for. That's wonderful.
Is that only on iPhones, or is it on the iPad too?
Let's see. I see no hearing app on the iPad. Let me go into settings and see if there's a control center hearing. So control center. And more controls. Hearing. Yes, it is there on the iPad. Yep. But you may have to turn on hearing in the control center. So iOS control center. Is this going to give me pictures? Yeah, so swipe up from the bottom, and that acts as, excuse me. First thing you need to do is customize your control center and add the hearing app. So you go into settings and then control center, and you can turn on and off the things that are in the control center. So if you never need to have a timer, you can turn that off. And if you want to have the hearing, if you scroll down to the more controls, hearing is going to be one of those controls.
And as a green plus?
Yep. And you're adding that to the control center.
Oh, so now it's over here.
So then when you go into the control center, you will see the ear icon. In your icon list, there'll be an ear icon. Then you tap on that to turn on the Listen Live function.
Steve?
Yep.
I followed you as far as you went. I'm into that, the thing it says for headphones or whatever, and down at the bottom it says live listen, connect to compatible audio device to use live listen.
Right.
And does that mean that, because this is something else I ran across. Doug, did you mention the Mini app yet for hearing testing?
No.
Okay. Well, without getting into it too far, that specifically seems to require Apple devices like AirPods, for example.
Yeah, you need a wireless headset or a wired headset so that one person speaks into the phone and the other person hears it in the headphone jack.
On my iPad now, I got as far as that thing of connect the compatible audio device to use live listen, and I have a wired, but it's not showing me any further control to use to enable live listen. Now what I'm going to do, and this may raise hell for a minute, I hope not, but I've unplugged the earphones, and I'm going to plug my AirPods into my ears, one on each side, and leave this to, okay, I'm hearing something. Did somebody just cough or something? No. Oh boy, now I hear your voice just fine though. I'm hearing Doug's voice, I believe.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, but
looks like
I hear
you
you coughing.
AirPods or a Power Beats or a Beats.
Yep. Yep, that sounds like what the Mini app wanted.
Yeah.
So now, if I go out of that, I come back into the ear thing, and it's still saying what it did before, connect a compatible audio device to use live listen. I don't see anything else to tap on to do that.
Yeah, probably because you haven't connected a compatible device.
Well, I'm on the AirPods now, and I'm hearing the sound through I'm hearing what people in the meeting are saying through the AirPods, which means to me that they're on. I mean, I can look up under Bluetooth, and it says the AirPods are connected.
Yeah. And then so if someone else speaks into your phone, you'll hear it on your AirPods. So the idea is to give your phone to someone else for them to talk, and then you'll hear it.
Yeah. Okay, now let me let me just do this. I am going to in my dreams.
Oh, it says it
shut off
with a wired headphone. A wired microphone.
Yeah.
Will also work.
Yeah, you can put it in your lightning port.
Yeah.
You could be like a news. You could be a news reporter.
Or it will work with a headphone jack too. If you have a microphone, you probably need a powered microphone.
You could be a news reporter, and instead of pointing your phone at somebody's face, you could point the microphone.
Yep.
That would be cool.
I need to do here is go back to Safari, and I'm going to.
In the other room, I could do it so then Shirley can talk to me through my.
Okay,
phone.
I had
time
just
for supper.
Yeah.
I had. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. What I did was I turned on the microphone in the Mastermind on the iPad, figuring that what this wanted was to hear input from the microphone on this device. And I looked back in the control center stuff, and I'm not seeing. Well, let me tap that ear thing again. Huh. Well, I guess that's something for me to play with. The good news, I think, is that this will relieve all of you of having to listen to my spiel about the other app that I looked up, Petrolex, since it looks as if Apple provides an equivalent function if you can figure out how to get to it.
And I also found some Amplify apps. Is that what you looked for?
You know, at this point, the way I found the thing I called Petrolex, I found by going. Let me kill this. I found by Googling. I was hearing ADAP or what, and I ended up going into their website, but I did find it on the App Store, unlike the EQ Max. The EQ Max I did not find on the App Store, but and you wouldn't if you were going to the App Store from an iDevice. You would only find EQ. Well, anyway, never mind. So the Petrolex thing actually is kind of neat. Had a lot of functionality to it, some of which you could get for free. And no, it's Petralex, I believe.
Yeah.
See what that does. There you go. And I don't know what the oh, there you are.
$5 a week.
$5 a week.
Or $70 a
or
year.
$70 a year. Yeah, and I saw different prices quoted. Well, $5 a week, or it was like $13 a month, or $70 a year.
Yep.
And when I was fiddling around looking at it, something popped up offering it for like $40 a year. However, there is a free version with a minimal functionality to it that you could play with without having to get a subscription, I believe. Now, one of the interesting things, why is it, boy, is it me, or are you having a hard time getting into the App Store?
I am in the
App Store,
but the Safari
window doesn't know it,
and it's only showing Safari in Mastermind.
In Mastermind. Right. Well, anyway, if you look at reviews on the Petrolex thing, it sounds like it's got a lot of neat functionality, and one of the features I like that I mentioned in the thing I pasted into the chat tonight is that its algorithms allow amplification of soft sounds without amplifying like the loud sounds. But if you look at the reviews over the past few years, you will see that as they have released different versions of it, features have, excuse me, either left or become unusable until the next release, and so on. So it's like something that might be fun to play with, but I don't know that you want to depend on it.
And the last
update was 2 years ago. Was it?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I mentioned in my note is that it is from Russia, and the reason that may be pertinent is that I didn't find it didn't seem threatening to me. I think the people are okay and they're not up to mischief. But if you look through the user agreement, where most things when their user agreement will say things like, okay, don't copy it, don't mess with it, don't use it for nasty purposes. And then you get down to the part about how you're not allowed to sue them, but if you do sue them, you're not allowed to sue them as part of a class action. And what they want you to do is submit to binding arbitration. Okay, fine. So that's all normal. And it all happens under the laws of Russia. So unless you're going to try to get to Moscow to have something arbitrated, it's not a good bet.
Do they arbitrate by Zoom?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that clearly.
I said, do they arbitrate by Zoom?
Oh, by Zoom. Yeah, well, I don't actually care because, as I understand the laws of Russia, it boils down to do you have powerful friend in Kremlin, or not?
Or do you want to be cold the rest of your life?
Yeah, really. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Bill Browder, but he wrote a couple of books, one of which was called Freezing Order, and it all has to do with the Magnitsky Act, which was named after a lawyer who worked for Browder in Moscow, who was imprisoned and beaten to death for his activities in terms of protesting things or whatever, or actually for just trying to sue. They got into an imbroglio with, there were people in the Russian government who were committing money laundering crimes, and were also able to, arrest anybody who bothered them about it, and then have them beaten to death. But Browder makes the interesting statement that basically, for all practical purposes, the Russian government and organized crime are one and the same thing.
That's amazing.
So enjoy Petrolex, but do not complain.
Steve?
Yep.
Yeah. I just got to. Go ahead.
That's you echoing.
I'm not sure where it's coming from.
I hear
Everybody is echoing.
Let's go back to Zoom.
Mute Charlie and see if that helps.
I don't know what's going through.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was it, Steve.
Okay.
Yep. It was all going probably through Charlie's speakers and then reverberating.
From Charlie. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, I just got a new set of hearing aids, and it's Bluetooth through my phone, so I can answer my phone, my ears and all that. But if my phone gets too close to my face, whatever, the volume changes drastically and changes. Is there a distance you should stay away from it?
There is a what do they call it? Proximity sensor. So it knows if you're holding it up to your head. I would think it would lower the volume because it knows it's going too close to your ear, and wouldn't want to be too loud. It also turns off the screen to save on battery because you don't need the screen on when you're holding the phone up to your ear.
Well, I like these. These are Phone X, and I can answer the phone and everything just through my hearing aids, tapping my ear. Theoretically, I haven't got that mastered yet. But I was just, but a lot of times the phone will, or the iPhone will ding or ring or make noises, or I get Siri coming on asking questions a lot more than I used to have before. Sometimes you get these weird noises coming through the middle of your head.
You may want to turn off the Hey Siri, and then just use the. Now my phone just activated because I said the trigger word.
Right. So did my
probably just activated.
HomePod.
But I don't even say anything. I could be just walking around, talking to somebody, start saying, I didn't understand that, I don't know why.
It thinks it heard the trigger word. So enough of the phonemes that you spoke or were spoken or overlapped each other sounded close enough to the trigger phrase that it activated. So if you turn off the hey function and then just use the a button when you want to activate Siri, that's probably easiest.
Okay, that might quiet it down. But it does work very well because I got these through the VA, and they did the hearing test, and then they programmed the hearing aids to the frequencies that you needed. Yeah. But I also then on the phone have control of turning volumes up and down, left and right. And then it has different programs for general, restaurant or music. I'm finding that it works very well.
Oh, that's great.
Steve.
Yep.
Apparently you can hear me again. I have gone to AirPods on the MacBook now, so hopefully there won't be reverberation. Have you turned off my screen sharing since we don't need it now?
Yes.
All right, so what I'm seeing is from your screen then that still has the thing of Petrolex on it?
You should be seeing the sound amplifier app store.
Sound amplifier hearing aid.
Yeah.
Well, some of these icons look similar. One of the things that I would like to mention is that I don't know if anybody's talked about Mimi yet, but Mimi is an app for iDevices that will give you a hearing test. Again, it's pretty fussy about just using Apple equipment, but it's interesting because it goes left ear then right ear, and what happens is that you it'll MI.
2 words, 1 word.
1 word.
Cute notes. Okay, let me try 1 word.
Just MI.
No, yeah, so it auto-corrected. MI for iPhone.
It's an app.
I don't see it.
This has been around for quite a few years now, and I've played with it before. And what it does when it does a test is that it'll transmit a pitch to you through your earphones, and there's a big dot, and what you do is you put your finger on the dot, and as the sound gets weaker and weaker, when you cease to hear the sound, you lift your finger. And I believe that you can create an account or whatever, and it will store your hearing profiles.
Yeah, it looks like there's several of them.
Are you doing this from a tablet or from your computer?
It's doing it from its Mac.
What? I heard 2 voices there.
I'm doing it from
I think Rick was saying, yeah. So it may not come up unless you do it from an iPad.
No, I'm looking for iPad.
Because, there you go. At any rate, one of the things about that Petrolex app is that it will do a hearing test for you and store it. And it's similar, except that on their version of it starts out with the pitch at an undetectably low volume and increases the volume until you hear it. And at that point, you tap on a button instead of holding your finger on a button and letting go when you don't hear the sound anymore. So, a little more comfortable that way. And then what the Petrolex thing does, is to apply that hearing audiogram or whatever to their app as it assists you in your hearing. So it's something that I may go ahead and play around with some more just for fun. As long as I do not complain to Kremlin.
You just did. Haha.
That's interesting. I'm finding a bunch of them, but not that one specific one.
Oh, okay. Well, let me see what I'm doing here.
So, Charlie, I don't know if international law comes into effect with some of these licensing agreements. But Russia right now isn't being a good player. I don't know if anyone put on it anyway.
Yeah, there's some kind of disturbance over there. I'm aware of that. Yeah. I'm looking for.
Okay, is that it? Charlie, I guess you're all set, right?
Yeah, I have nothing constructive to add.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank
Yep,
you.
that was very good, so thank you.
Glad you thought so.
Good job.
So it's just after 10. Is there anything else that anybody else wants to talk about?
Do we need to make an announcement about nominations for the board?
Yes, Rick, that's very good. Rick and I are on the nominating committee. I'm the board member. He's the non-board member. And if anybody knows anybody who wants to join the board or run for an office, probably best thing to do would be to email board members from the tab on the CIDER homepage. And otherwise, I suppose by the February meeting, we should reveal a ballot for March, right? Steve and Shirley? Okay, so we'll do that. Odds are it's going to be roughly the same, except Shirley don't want to be president no more. So
I will still do it if nobody else wants to step up. So
well, nobody will step up if you say that.
Well,
thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Shirley.
I mean, I don't mind doing it.
I think you're doing a great job.
I agree. I think you're good.
So, so we'll see if anybody else, well, let's say I will run for president again, and then if anybody's interested, they can put it on the ballot. Right? When we do the ballots and write in and say, oh, I'm interested, and then we'll just go from that point.
Have an actual election.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, this is not really a hard job per se for anybody who thinks, oh, there's all this stuff involved. It's not really, but all right then. So we have the nominating committee, right? And then we'll have the probably talk more about this a little bit at the board meeting. And then February will be our next meeting, and Lyle is going to be talking about the taxes for 2022.
You need to remind me, Shirley, maybe the weekend before. We've got to chat with Lyle and make sure we get his computer working so he can show it off right, because he was having trouble tonight.
Okay, well, that'd be good. All right.
I can make a note on the computer here, too. So the meeting is February 8th. It's early.
Yeah, that is. Wow.
Hey, Steve, your Christmas tree lights blinking on and off have been sort of messing with your camera a bit.
Yeah, I had to so the light wasn't directly behind me.
Yeah, you probably should have just turned it off.
No, we haven't taken our tree down yet.
I was thinking you should have pointed the camera at it so we could see the whole thing,
we're still this weekend Christmas will come down.
Same at our house.
We just got rid of our tree.
I hated to take it down.
We took ours to be recycled.
I just haven't been enthusiastic about, going through everything and taking stuff down. It's like I put my tree up the week of Christmas. So I said, it didn't have a long run like for the whole month. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready about this weekend to say, okay, we're done.
Yeah. It makes the house more festive. I
know. It's sort of like, you should keep some Christmas lights up, for a while until we start to have sunshine again during the day.
Yes.
And then you could do Christmas in July with a brown tree.
That would be too long.
Our tree stayed green for 25 years.
Yes.
I have a little mini tree, and I thought one year, oh yeah, I'm going to keep it up, and every holiday I'm going to put different decorations on it.
You could decorate it differently. I like that. I had a friend who did that.
But I got to about, I think, March, April, and then I got tired of it. And I was like, it was very hard to find things to kind of get beyond Valentine's. Easter was the last one. Because after that, there's not really anything unless you pick the Lilac Festival or you kind of get creative. And I was just getting tired of the tree sitting there after all that time. But you never know.
Go to one of the dollar stores. They have all kinds of Valentine's stuff.
Oh, yeah. And this tree's got like 3 sets of mini lights on it. So it's, it can be lit up a little bit with long as the batteries last.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I might get enthused because it's nice and, kind of cheery. It's not real bright lights. They're just small, but, Oh, well.
Well, good night, everybody. I'm signing off.
All right, well, we will
Good
officially end the meeting. It's 10:06 tonight. So, all right, and then we'll see all the board members next week. And then anybody else, we'll see next month.
Sounds good.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. That's right.
Oh, yeah, Happy New Year.
2023.
Say good night, Dick.